Thank you so much, Sifa, there with Rekkles. Always very insightful, and he's always someone that I wouldn't say is pessimistic, but always looks at what they can improve on rather than be like, whoa, we got a 2-0, so that's all there is to it.
Tends to be fairly level-headed when it comes to, hey, look, there are some issues that we still need to figure out. And you can always rely on Rekkles for at least honest answers.
Yeah.
I know previously it's like, oh, he said quite a lot in this answer. But no, Rekkles will speak very frankly about Fnatic whenever we speak to him.
And that's why he's player of the game. Just kidding. He is also our player of the game, so coincidentally that works out perfectly.
Yeah, I think he puts a lot of expectations on himself, which is often why you say that, you know, having gone to Worlds now multiple times, I think he wants to be the best. So you need to kind of have that mentality if you want to be beating like world-class players such as players from SKT.
And getting the player of the game here because you were looking very closely at both AD carries, the Jhin play coming out of Ralls and the Rekkles play, or the ezreal play rather, coming out of Rekkles.
Yeah, so it was weird because up until the pause, I probably wouldn't have looked at this way for the game, but late game, the AD carries took over. Like Ezreal started getting a quadra kill at one point from one fight. We saw, you know, the Jhin on the other side really doing work for MrRalleZ, but I was fairly impressed by Rekkles when it comes to his team fighting. It's fairly straightforward with Rekkles when you can get single targets. Like it helps that Gilius is going in alone and kind of not team fighting with his team effectively. So it wasn't the hardest of performances, but certainly it was a long performance.
Definitely was. He didn't steal an objective though, and I did want to take another look at both of the steals that happened, both Baron and Elder Drake, because it was Schalke setting up for it, so somehow Fnatic did get lucky, I want to say, but it's a 50-50, and if you take it, you take it.
Yeah, you certainly do. Spirit being able to get the steal off of is exactly what Fnatic needed at this point in the game. You're very late into the stages of play. Both teams are very tense, and this is how we actually see the steal coming out from Febiven on that Viktor.
Oh, I was going to say, how does he get it? So Gragas goes over him, Febi's damage comes out from it. Gilius, that's the second objective that Schalke were on right there, that he didn't get the smite of. Possibly interrupted. We actually didn't catch that one again in the game, and this time, again, I was kind of looking over at you. So Gilius may have been interrupted, but nevertheless, just good steals from Fnatic.
As a final statement about these two teams, obviously Schalke, unfortunately, as you mentioned, Gilius again, the mental must be affected a bit, again, especially in a game like this. And for Fnatic, who Rekkles called it out already, the fact that you need to rely on those steals is obviously not ideal, but a 2-0 on the week is very good for the week so far. It's good for them.
So far. So used to being 2-0 on the week. Possibly, on track. Good to pick up the 3 points at that point. Fnatic were just kind of hanging around the sort of top half of the pack, but another 3-0 now. Looking at series coming up, if that's a split series and they go 1-1 against each other for G2H2K, that maybe gives Fnatic the opportunity to leapfrog in week 3.
Can be very interesting, and you heard it here behind us. It's getting loud because here in the arena and on LCS 1, Vitality and the UOL are on the Rift in game 1 of their series, and it's been pretty bonkers.
Yeah, it certainly has. The early game actually started off really well for UOL, getting themselves a very quick double kill up in the top lane after what was a very successful 5-man teleport gank. Unfortunately for Exile, he has been the target focus largely, getting caught out across the map multiple times. Seems to be a repeat performance, but right now we're at 34 minutes into the game. Both teams playing quite heavily around these objectives, and you're seeing a lot of Baron and Dragon plays where both teams are trying to force fights.
Looks pretty good for Vitality. There's a lot of items on Caitlyn, Viktor, Irelia this late in the game. Looks like they're in control as well. Hilly.
Oh,
he's gone.
Wow. Very quick double kill coming out from Unicorns of Love. And what better person to get that on rather than the Irelia? Is they actually going to quickly take down that tier 2 turn? They may be looking to push into the base.
Yeah, Vitality does look like they will be are on the right path to taking the game. If you guys want to check out the tail end of that, go over to EULCS 1. However, we need to step away as we ready the Rift for our match of the week between H2K and G2 Esports. See you back here in just a few minutes.